For more on this story now, let's bring in our correspondent Philip Willan, who's in Rome for us. Philip, the state funeral service will begin in about a half an hour. What can we expect?
Clearly, it's going to be a very emotional occasion. As you mentioned, a lot of anger about this tragedy, which many people feel was avoidable, should never have happened. And people are still looking for who was responsible. In this case, we have a new anti-establishment government in power. Many of its top officials will be present. And it's going to be hard to blame them for what happened, the grounds for what happened laid a long time in the past. But clearly a lot of anger, a lot of grief, and there could be some angry reactions to officials appearing for the funeral.
Now, a lot of anger and a lot of grief, as you say yourself. Some of the victims' relatives have declared that they will stay away from today's funeral service. Why are they so angry with the government that they would say something like that?
Yes, a number of people, actually more than half of the victims, are not going to be present at the funeral today. In some cases, people say that simply they want to have the funeral in their hometown, where friends and relatives can attend more easily. But there have also been very angry reactions, people suggesting that their loved ones were the victims of a state homicide. So it makes no sense to participate in a state funeral. That I think is a strong feeling, because this is the national infrastructure that the state is ultimately responsible for. And so people do feel that the state and those who represent it are at fault here, and they don't want to participate in a ceremony with representatives of that state.
So very clear-cut responses there. Now, the firm responsible for the maintenance of the bridge is due to hold a news conference shortly. There's a lot of pressure on them, not just to provide answers, but also to possibly compensate families to build the bridge and to pay for the bridge. What kind of actions are they planning to take, do you reckon?
Well, we'll have to wait and see, but certainly the company has suggested that it does want to provide financial support for victims' families and also for the many people who've been made homeless by this tragedy. They've also said that they're willing to help rebuild the road infrastructure of Genoa. A lot, though, will depend if the government moves ahead with revoking their license. A lot will depend really on negotiations with the government. Clearly, major financial commitments to restore the transport network in Genoa makes sense if you believe that you're going to get your license back. If you're not going to get the license back, that could reduce the generosity of the company. But clearly there's enormous pressure on them. Many people feel that they're deeply at fault and they need to try and recover some of the lost goodwill.
We'll wait and see what they have to say at this news conference. Philip Willan in Rome, thank you.